Dun, dun, dun. I think we're live, Rory. Good morning.
Good morning, Tellman. What's going on, man?
Episode 70,
Crazy.
70.
That's wild, dude.
That's
Absolutely wild.
seven decades of episodes.
In such a short amount of time, too.
Yeah, no. Uh, this is great. I really enjoy this daily show thing. It's it's weird, honestly, to have a full on daily commitment to the business.
Yeah.
That's every day at the same time doing the same thing 7 days a week. Not, you know what I mean? It's like it feels like I'm, because I'm totally breaking the pattern of, first of all, taking weekends off, like the whole stigma of the workforce in the world. You know, you work hard Monday through Friday and then you take the weekends off. I know that most internet entrepreneurs don't really play by those rules anyway, but if you have a family and you have, friends, like generally you're hanging out with friends and family on the weekend more than you're working, and so it's I've always had a hard time with a daily commitment to something that's not a necessity. And
Okay.
so having a daily commitment to, that's not a survival necessity. And so having a full on daily commitment to my business, I don't know. I feel like it's a glitch in the matrix. I feel like it's a little bit of it's like a door into a different world somehow.
Yeah. Yeah. I can see that. I can see that. Sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, I guess that's my positive focus. I'm loving the vibe of doing this every day and how it kind of creates enormous internal momentum.
Yep. Yep. For sure, man. I get it. I get it 100%.
Cool. What about you? What's your positive focus?
That's a good one. What is my positive focus?
That's a funny hat you got on. What's that called? That's like a
Thank you.
Boston something or else? What
So,
was that?
the brand, interestingly enough, is Boston Scally. It's often referred to as what, a paperboy hat, a newsboy hat, a golf hat. I don't know. I like this brand and I like this style of cap. It's a little different. Looks super.
I saw some ads for those a few months ago that looked pretty cool. I almost bought one, but I've never seen one in person on someone before, and I've never tried one on. So yeah.
No, I like it. I actually got addicted to them several years back. This talk about a company that pisses me off at first. So they are notorious for releasing hats, and they're a lot of their caps sell out within 3 to 4 days.
Oh, cool. All right. A lot of limited edition.
Yeah. Or well, I don't know if they're limited edition anymore as much as they play the scarcity game really well. So they have this all green cap, kind of like this shade, all green, called the Punk. And it's one of their
staples.
St. Patrick's Day caps.
Oh, St. Patrick's Day. Okay.
And they were running the ad. What do? They do like they usually drop it like 6 months before for some reason. And they're running this ad. And every time I click on the ad, this is why I say it pisses me off, it's sold out.
No, I've had that happen with another company. Yeah. I'm not going to name the company because it's a company that's run by a friend of mine, but
yeah.
I've had the same experience.
Yeah. So eventually they re-release it, and I bought the cap, and I want to say probably 131 caps later, I am fully addicted to this brand.
Dude, 131?
131 caps.
You have that many hats of the same style from the same company?
Yeah,
dude.
This company.
Dude, you've got issues. How much do they cost?
Oh, let's not play the how much did Rory spend game.
No, that's exactly the game we're playing today.
They're about $52 each.
All right, that's an investment.
So that's $6,812 in caps.
That depreciates the moment you put it on your head.
Not entirely true. When
you sell your hats, it's kind of like when I'm not even going to get into that. Go on.
Well, I have one cap that is I could easily turn around and sell for $450. That would include the limited edition pin, the pin itself, which you pay $8 for. I did not pay $8 for it. It came with the cap when I was able to secure it.
Dude, you should wear a different one every day.
I may.
Yeah.
Hold on a second. I'll wear one. We'll cycle.
How big? You have a big head, don't you? Like a medium-sized head?
I don't know.
I have a small head. My head.
I wear a size medium large, which is 58 to 60 inches. Here's another one. Beautiful cap. Yeah. Here's a single panel, a flat panel cap. I really like.
Yeah, I actually still own one like that I have from high school.
Yeah. So anyway, I mean, of course it's a depreciating asset, but some of them are collector's editions. But you know what? It's fun. I enjoy it. Keeps me happy, keeps me honest. I'm not an alcoholic. I'm not a drug addict. So how's that for positive focus? I have a healthy addiction.
It's pretty funny because I'm not currently collecting lots of hats.
Yeah.
But there have been several periods of my life where I've been a very avid, weird, bizarre, off-the-wall hat collector. I don't tend to collect hats of all the same style, but I have a lot of hats, and I don't normally wear hats when I'm live streaming, but when I'm out and about, I always wear crazy-ass hats. So I've chilled out a little bit lately. I was for many years wearing a really nice black felted bowler cap that I have somewhere around here, but during my last move, it kind of disappeared. So I think it's stashed in the box somewhere. But I appreciate hats. I noticed you call them caps. You call them caps. Why is that?
Well, I mean, the company is called Boston Scally Cap.
Okay.
So I suppose
you're indoctrinated.
I'm indoctrinated, yeah. And dude, you talk about marketing. These guys, so they drop most of their caps on Fridays at noon. If they're doing a new cap, which they generally do at least one every week, they start teasing it on a Sunday. Dude, from a marketing standpoint, it's a brilliant company. They have, I mean, it's everything you want, right? There's the in group and the out group. They have, multiple Facebook groups have spun up for buying, selling, trading. Mm-hmm. There are people that create their own pins for these caps, which I refuse to put a pin through my cap. I have issues with putting holes in my caps.
Defacement.
Yeah, they started, the company itself started a Facebook Messenger chat, which really isn't a chat because it's one way, but they call it their insider group. And we usually get a 10 or 20 minute drop, if you will, before the general public sees the new release stuff. So they could potentially do a better job by incentivizing us to be in there and, hey, here's an hour access before the cap drops. But it's really cool to see what they do. And then of course, to know the fucking money that I've spent on caps,
that's cool.
Nuts.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Nice. I mean, I'll go check one out. I like that one you were wearing at the beginning. My favorite color is green.
Mine too.
So we're both hat collectors and we both like green. That looks like it might be a really good running hat.
It might be. It might be.
Is it the kind of material that would be good, sweaty?
Or I think this one would. I mean, you've got the mesh trucker hat style, as they call it.
So that would keep it aired out. That might be good. Cool. Yeah. What's that one called?
That's a good one.
It doesn't have a label. It doesn't have it doesn't say on the inside.
No. Well, this is a trucker hat, and it is the Shamrock Trucker.
The Shamrock Trucker.
It just dropped last Wednesday. They did a surprise.
So you're showing it off. You're showing it off right now.
It actually just arrived yesterday, I believe, and it dropped last Wednesday as a surprise midweek drop to make sure we had it in time for St. Patrick's Day. I like it so much that I almost bought 2 to my wife's chagrin. Because their caps, like I said, they typically sell out and you're waiting at least a year plus before they get them back in if they do. And when you say, hey, that could be a great running cap,
Yeah.
like the idea of sweating in this cap and having a sweat stain in it and not having like a clean one to wear,
Yeah.
like, ugh, like just kind of skeeves me out. Like, no, I have to have a nice, neat, clean hat to wear. So all that to say, if I if I were to wear this to Disney, this would be a great, Disney cap, because I'm gonna get hot and sweat my what off at Disney.
Right.
I'd have at least 2 or 3 of these, one for the house, one for specifically for Disney, because it's gonna get obliterated.
I do like that punk, the Irish green. Maybe I'll have to get myself one of those. Huh. All
Are
right.
you on their
Rory.
website?
Fair enough. Yeah, I am.
Yeah, the punk is a very popular cap. They actually have it in blue and black now as well. Great stuff,
Cool.
dude. Great stuff.
Cool. Nice. And these guys are out of Boston, I would hope.
They are.
Good.
Yeah.
Keep it in Boston. Cool. So we're gonna do a little check-in here today. I know that we have about 25 more minutes, 28 more minutes. Rory has to jump at 5 of the hour. And so we're going to teach you guys how to do a daily check-in. And daily check-ins have been kind of on and off part of our Get Shit Done show, because we've been figuring out our format and interviews and multiple co-hosts and all this stuff. But daily check-ins are a critical part of running, in my experience, they're a critical part of running a team, whether it be a local team or a virtual team or a hybrid team, whether you're a team of 2 or a team of 20. The biggest team that I've ever had was a team of about 40. And at that point we had middle management, which I didn't really like my life when I had middle management involved. It was too messy, and things took too long to make happen. And I don't know, maybe I need to grow as a person, as a business owner, but I really had a hard time with middle management at that stage of our company. But whether a daily check-in is super important, super powerful. And if you can do it with someone that you're working with and or really cares about your success, even if they're not working directly with you, maybe they're working on their own thing, it really makes a difference, because taking the time out to really look at the following. So daily check-in. Number 1, positive focus.
Yep.
Start it with a positive focus. Get everybody out of their shitty ass mood that they might be in. They just had an argument with their spouse. They just, realized that a payment for something went through that they weren't expecting. Just got a call about somebody in the family's, health crisis. Whatever. Like, this stuff happens all day, every day, right? We have a lot of inbound stress and difficulties that we're dealing with. And when you're meeting together as a group, there's nothing more. If you want to have a productive meeting, having everybody in a reasonably good mood is super helpful. And having people in a pissy, bitchy mood where they're just like letting their stress out on you because didn't have any other way to deal with it is not usually very useful. So It's a polarity shifter, right? It's very hard to stay in a bad mood when you're focused on something that you really love and appreciate and that you're excited about in your life. So,
amen. Yeah, focus. Absolutely.
Yeah, Rory, we've talked a little bit about positive focus on the show together, but you and Dan Sullivan, I learned about it in Dan Sullivan's Strategic Coach, and so how is that impact? Like, when I don't know if you do it in any other part of your life or just when we're meeting or what the deal is, but like, how is that for you?
So good question. Primarily it's a Tellman or, overcome everything universe where I've developed that skill set. One of the last companies I worked with, we started every team meeting with, they didn't call it positive focus. We just went through our wins. Everybody shared a personal and professional win.
Yeah. Same idea. Right?
For the most part, it's awesome. Like, I do love it. There are times where I don't absolutely love it, because when I'm like, let's be honest, right? There are times where it's like, I really don't have anything I feel positive about. But you have to find something. And I think that's part of the exercise too, right?
Exactly.
Is you dig deep down inside and find something to be positive about.
And if you
Personal.
want to go back to being grumpy and bitchy, you can do that after the meeting.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
it's like
Personal wins. Again, just for the sake of talking, personal wins are usually pretty quick to come up with.
right.
Professional wins sometimes can be a little difficult. And the reason I say that is like the last place I worked, it was like, even though I was only like contracted part-time,
Yeah.
I tried to find professional wins related to that company and not be like, hey, I just signed a new client over here and now I can afford to leave this position. So it's like
Right.
you
Right.
have to
Right.
work a segmented life.
Right.
But again, it's a great exercise. I think, forcing yourself and your team members into that positive mindset is super, super important because, a negative mindset, a toxic mindset can just destroy something beautiful.
Well, that's the other thing though that's so cool about it, Rory, is that it teaches everyone through experience
Yep.
that you have direct influence over how you feel.
Yeah. Oh God. Yes. 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 Yes.
Right now, you
Yep.
can't always control everything about how you feel, and sometimes there's some really bad shit hitting the fan that like is going to overwhelm you, right?
Yeah.
But for the most part, most of the time, we have a lot more influence over how we feel simply by changing our thoughts
Yep.
and what we're putting our attention on in our thoughts. It dramatically shifts our entire experience of life.
Yeah.
Right.
It really does. It really does. And I'm glad you brought that up because there was something else that popped in my mind that I wanted to talk about that goes along with positive focus, which is, what you pay attention to grows.
That's right.
Right. So not only did we do positive focus at TNH, but there was a period.
TNH is the new hypnotists,
The new
which
hypnotist,
was
right?
a separate company that we started after the temporary defeat of Overcome Everything.
Yes.
So TNH grows. Yeah.
So what was fascinating, we may have done this when you stepped away.
Yeah.
I can't remember, is we started, each person on the team had daily KPI.
Right. Yeah.
Right. So, what you pay attention to grows. And it's amazing that if you literally, if you don't pay attention to something,
right,
it just doesn't get anywhere. You really
or
don't
it
know
might slowly make progress over time, but yeah, if you don't put the conscious, purposeful, repeated attention on making a number better, it usually will just stay at its default state. Sometimes it'll get a little bit better if other aspects of the business or your life are rising. But yeah, no, KPIs, I started doing those in Overcome Everything many, many, many years ago after reading The Rockefeller Habits by Vern Harnish, which was recommended, I think by Eben Pagan back in the day. And KPIs are key performance indicators, and they're part of daily check-ins, and they're not part of what because it's been kind of loose and sloppy, to be honest, as a group, like basically the co-hosts of Get Shit Done, myself included, don't have a daily KPI as it relates to Get Shit Done that we're focused on. But so let me outline the check-in.
Yeah, let's go. Let's do it.
Okay, guys. So basically, here's what you do: positive focus. Then you go around and you go over the shit you got done yesterday, the shit you're going to get done today.
Yep.
And then where are you stuck, or what do you need help with?
Yep.
And very often the where are you stuck or what do you need help with are the items that you're carrying over from yesterday that you didn't get done that you committed to. That's how you can point out to yourself where you're stuck or what you need help with, is if you didn't get the shit done yesterday you were supposed to, there's probably a good reason for it. So let's attack it and stop avoiding it. The other piece is, if you do have a KPI or a key performance indicator, then you want to plug that number into a spreadsheet, right? And that is, I would recommend you just start with a Google Sheet, right? Where there's the date at the top and your name and then whatever your number is. Over time, you may find that what you want to do is have a red, a yellow, and a green coding for your number. And a red means it's in the red. You are screwed. The ship is going down. The barn is on fire. Okay, you need help. Okay, when your KPI is in the red, you are having a heart attack. When the KPI is in the red, you are no longer breathing. Okay, so the KPIs are the vital signs for your business, and they're the vital signs that you have direct influence over. That's part of the key to KPIs.
Yep.
So ideally, to start, you have one KPI, and
wait a second, Tellman.
Yeah.
Why just one KPI? Why can't you have multiple KPIs?
The reason is very simple. For most people, getting people to track one number is a pain in the ass. Getting in the habit of tracking one number for most people is like pulling teeth. So if you're already in the habit of it and you got it dialed with your one and you're able to keep track of that for a month, great. Let's get more sophisticated. I'm down. You definitely need more data. In many cases is better. But to get started, it's about developing the habit more than it is about having the data, in my opinion. Having
there was a reason I asked that, by the way, but keep going.
What was the reason?
Largely, well, it's fascinating, and it's a little bit of a different angle based on how you described your answer.
Well, I mean, these are all opinions.
No, well, yeah, right. But and a respected opinion, right? So the reason I asked it somewhat tongue in cheek is when you're running paid ads, you need to have one KPI. You need to have one goal. Most of the time, that goal is CPA, cost per acquisition.
Okay.
Right? So what does it cost to acquire a customer?
Yeah.
And you figure that out based on your AOV. And if you're really smart, you figure it out on your LTV. And I say when you're really smart because...
Hey, please tell everyone the acronyms to bring everybody up to speed.
Average, thank you. Average order value is AOV. Yep. LTV is lifetime value, sometimes known as, what is it? CLTV, customer lifetime value. So you want to focus on CPA. That's something you can control. My cost is higher. My cost is lower. My cost is higher. My cost is lower. A lot of people, and these are businesses that often struggle, and I despise working with them because they are very, very psychotic and neurotic. And I don't mean that in a rude, condescending way. Like, I want to work with people on this stuff. Is you get people who are like, oh, well, I need my CPA to be here, and I need my ROAS, my return on ad spend here. And it's like, those are two different competing things.
Right.
CPA, my cost per acquisition, I can control.
Right.
Your ROAS, your return on ad spend, I cannot control because I cannot control what your customers buy. I cannot control how much they buy. That's why you
hold on. How can you control? Because I want to bring up just a piece to this. How can you control customer acquisition cost? CPA, cost per acquisition. Yeah. How can you control that?
It's a great question.
So ultimately, you said you can control that, but you can't control ROAS. So I want to ask you, like, I get why you can't directly control ROAS, but why can you directly control cost per acquisition?
It's a great question. So in reality, you can't control anything, right? Control is an illusion. But how do you do that? I mean, it's simple. It's simple. I should say it's simple math. I mean, it's complicated if you don't know it, but you have to look at your front end metrics, right? You have to figure out if my cost per click, my CPC is one thing, my CTR, my click-through rate is another, my opt-in rate, right? You can figure out all the different percentages and look at, okay, what levers do I need to pull to get the costs down?
Right. You can. Okay. So this is
the
important
control.
Part, yeah.
So control. Maybe Tellman, it's not so much control as much as I, as a media buyer, can influence
the
cost per acquisition
in
more of a stable way than I can influence return on ad spend. And listen, there are plenty of people who focus on ROAS and do a great job at it.
Right.
I am not that media buyer, right? So there are companies who are like, we have to hit four ROAS, 4x, so 4 times return on ad spend. For every dollar I put in, I need $4 out to survive. That is not a business. That is an offer.
Right.
A business has more products for sale,
Right.
has a recurring back end usually. Those are the businesses that I like to work with because you're focused on an ongoing relationship. Most people who are focused on ROAS exclusively, it's a transactional business, and those
So,
eventually run out.
but look at this. We're talking about KPIs.
Yep.
And I fully agree. There are things you can influence and there are things you can control.
Yep.
But this is very much the difference between an outcome-oriented goal and a process-oriented goal.
Ooh,
And so, like, what's that?
I said, look at us talking about goals. I want you to define those now.
Well,
Process and outcome.
An outcome goal is I want to make $10,000. I want to launch a business and make $10,000 a month. Okay. And I want to do it in the next 90 days, which is like what everybody says they want to do and nobody ever does. And then the other thing is, but then there's process-oriented goals, and process-oriented goals are the actions that you're going to take on a repeated and regular basis in order to get there. And so with weight loss, an outcome goal is I want to lose 150 pounds. Okay. A process goal is I'm going to exercise for an hour every day. Right. And I'm going to walk further each day than I did the day before. If your exercise is walking, as an example. And so you can control how far you walk and whether you walk, but you can't control how much weight you lose. You can influence it, but you can't control it, and you can't control exactly when it's going to happen. But you can make sure that you exercise every day, and you can make sure you eat vegan or whatever your thing is, right? And so when you're looking at KPIs, or when you've looked at KPIs with the various businesses that you've been involved with in various capacities, do you look at numbers you can control, or do you look at numbers you can influence?
Man, it's such a good question. I want to say I do both.
You probably should ultimately do both, right? But like, guys, here's the thing. Here's a number you can influence: the amount of money you make today. Here's something that you can control: how many people do you reach out to on Messenger? Yep. How many cold calls do you make? How many job applications did you put in today? You can control all those things.
True.
In order to make more money, but you can't control when you're going to get the job, or you can't control when you're going to make the sale, right?
Yeah.
So I believe that KPIs initially, what's more important are numbers that you have absolute control and authority over, and you can do a better job at hitting those numbers. You can increase those numbers, and or you can increase the quality, or you can change your activity in order to have a greater, in order to get there faster, whatever. But like I interestingly have had 2 people in the last week that I've hypnotized to get jobs, who they had lost their job and they had lost their confidence and they desperately needed a job, but they weren't applying to jobs, and they knew they were procrastinating on it, and they wanted to get hypnotized to go out there and get a job, even though they were dragging their feet, right? And so that was very interesting. And so we put a structure together where they scheduled in the time that they were going to spend applying to jobs, and then they put it on their Google Calendar. They set the time aside. They blocked it off. They said how many applications they were going to put in what period of time, and then I hypnotized them to do that. Yeah, and it's just like, awesome. Boom, right? So anyway, KPIs, if you've never used KPIs in your life, I highly recommend you choose one. And it's not daily sales, but it's the activity that you do to create your daily sales.
Yeah,
right?
I like that a lot, and there's power in that subtle differentiation you just gave us. Daily sales, you can like you can't control that, but the number of conversations you have to get there, you can, and
Right.
that's
Right. In whatever industry you're in, and translate however that turns into money for you. Right. So step one is positive focus. Step two is check in. What shit did you get done yesterday? What shit are you going to get done today? Where are you stuck, or what do you need help with? And I guess technically, if you have a KPI, that's step two, right? And then again, it's red, yellow, or green. Red is the ship is sinking. Yellow is okay, my head's above water, but like I'm kind of worried here. And then green is everything's good. I've got my department covered. Like we're good to go. I did 5 sales calls yesterday and reached out to 20 people. I hit, I did my thing. Or did 5 social media posts. Whatever your activity is that you're doing to grow your business. And that's it. And so a good check-in, ideally, is organized, not like it was today on our call, and lasts no longer than 30 minutes. Ideally, no longer than 5 minutes per person on the call. And if your check-ins last more than 30 minutes, you either everyone's talking too much, or you have too many people on the call, because you don't want to have hour-long daily check-ins. That's not going to work, right? So real quick, Rory, we already did our positive focus. And positive focus, if you have a group meeting and everybody's on a timeline, doesn't go for 5 minutes like I often do, right? Like it's short, and you move it along. So positive focus. Then we'd report on our KPIs. Ideally, in this environment, we both have a get shit done KPI for what we're doing to help grow get shit done would be ideal, right?
Yep.
And then what did you do yesterday? Either in your business, or we're just talking about how we're going to work together more to get shit done rolling. So those projects aren't really underway yet.
Yep.
So yeah, what did you do in your business? What did you get done yesterday? What are you doing today? And what do you need help with? I'm happy to go first, unless you want to.
I can go first. It's on top of mine. So
Hit it.
the big thing I accomplished yesterday was writing new ad copy for a reasonably new client that I'm working with to beat their ad control. So very, very happy with how that came together. I updated my tracking sheet for my Brutally Honest ad review ads performance. So how that campaign is generating leads. That's probably most of what I accomplished yesterday. I got a great nap in yesterday. Love me a good nap. Today, I have already launched that new ad copy, so that will go live in a couple hours once it hits midnight local time. This is a international company with an international ad account. I like to launch my ads at midnight. Good old superstition at this point. That's like my game-winning dirty socks that I refuse to change.
Nice.
I need to check in on a couple client accounts and see on the progress we're making with other Beat the Controls. And I need to get my ass in gear with my low ticket funnel. I don't want to say AC funnel. I think I'm gonna model Frank's convert book sales letter. Had an interesting conversation with somebody yesterday about how AC funnels are just showing up everywhere, and we're now kind of getting a little bit of banner blindness to them, especially if you're marketing in the marketing world to any degree. That's not to say they don't work. They absolutely do. But when more and more people use them, people get, the surprise isn't there anymore.
Right. Totally. I mean, dude, I launched 2 AC funnels and they both bombed. 2 totally separate markets, totally. Yeah. And in both cases, I did them with other very experienced direct response marketers. And we were all met with a fair amount of frustration. So, it's interesting.
Yeah.
Cool. Cool. So anything you're stuck or need help with?
No, I just need to fucking get shit done. Like that's really it. I appreciate that.
As you're talking about beat the control, it's interesting because there was a point a few years ago, I told you about this, where I was going to launch something called Beat the Control.
Yep.
And the Control was going to be the mascot, a character called the Control. And like, and kind of like a masked superhero of some sort, and and he's like a wrestler. Like you have to try to beat him. Yeah. You know what I mean? And the idea was to have some sort of a game show, like an internet marketing game show, where somehow, kind of like Marketer's Deathmatch back in the day. Yep. But where the game somehow was to beat the control and to reveal the results, and then who knows, maybe somebody wins something awesome or whatever. I'm imagining like a Jeopardy wheel spinning and shit like that. But as you were talking, I was like, man, maybe I don't know if you're down or not, but maybe we should start a second show called Beat the Control, or something like that. That could be really fun, because I it's great that you're using the term. I didn't come up with the term, but I do have a whole like world starting around, that's kind of like a starter world that I planted the seeds on a few years ago that I never did anything with. I may own beatthecontrol.com, dude. I don't know if I do, but I might. It's possible.
Let's see if I can find the who is for it.
Is there anything there?
Well, no, it honestly, it looks like one of those search result pages where people, like, you click on it and people get
that's
paid.
Not mine. I don't own it.
So this then begs the question: do you still own listbuilding.com?
Yeah.
Why are you holding on to that?
Someone in the industry offered me 30 grand for it a few years ago, and I said no. I said no. I guess I'm holding on to it because even though I'm on to other projects and doing other things, like, I am most well known, at least in marketing circles, for my list building work. Whenever I go to a conference or talk to an old internet marketing friend that I haven't talked to for a while, or, more often people are like, oh, the list building guy, even though I've been selling hypnosis stuff for 15 years. I'm usually recognized as the list building guy, which is interesting. Yep. And list building, philosophically, is, still the primary philosophy that I have running around business. I don't know if it's accurate. I might need to change my worldview at some point, but in my mind, it's build a big ass audience, stay in touch with them, develop a relationship with them, help them, and then sell them stuff to help them more. Like, be a leader and sell them the products and services that they're looking for to, like, achieve what they want to achieve in their life. And that's the model, which is build a list, right? And then send mail to it. I mean, that's been around since well before the internet. So I don't believe that list building is dead. I do know that email marketing has changed. And so so the reason is because, am I still the list building king? Will the list building king be making a comeback? I mean, maybe, but at the same time, what I don't like about teaching marketing is that if you're not on the immediate cutting edge of what's trendy, you're not trending. And all of the marketing stuff gets outdated and no longer cool so quickly, that I found all my hypnosis stuff, not a single one of my hypnosis products have ever gotten outdated. Not one of them. Every single one of my marketing courses have gotten outdated. Every one of my marketing courses are in some way, shape, or form not nearly as relevant as the moment they were created, but all of my hypnosis stuff is everlasting. And so anyway, that's why I've held on to listbuilding.com. I've been considering selling it recently. It's a good reminder, Rory, because I was considering it, but I haven't like moved on that at all. So I'll have to think. Maybe I'll put listbuilding.com up for sale to the highest bidder. Make a big thing about it.
Yeah. Well, not to push you too fast, but I do have to run, so it is your turn.
Oh, right. It's past the okay, great. Real quick. So yesterday, I did the Get Shit Done show. I did a 12 o'clock Get Shit Done work party for the community. I had a phone meeting with Jonathan Mizell for about half an hour about our new weight loss hypnosis webinar that we're running. I completed the final edits on the weight loss hypnosis webinar system. And I did a hypnosis session. So that's what I did yesterday. And today, Get Shit Done show. And then I have 3 hypnosis sessions today. One at noon, one at 2, one at 4. And so for me, that's mostly what I'm going to get done between sessions. I'm getting a you could say an ad over to my buddy who's putting a cool memo out to his mastermind group for me. And I'm also working on a new sales page for what I'm promoting now that I'm no longer promoting private one-on-one Tellman sessions. And so what I'm actually working on is interestingly enough, an AC style sales funnel for the prosperity process. Instead of selling it for $375, we're going to sell it for $27 and see how that goes. So that's what I'm doing today. Nice. Full day. What I'm stuck with is nothing. I got a full day. I need to make sure I eat. That's about it.
Rock on, dude. Awesome.
Cool. All right. Great. You know what? I guess we don't really have time for commercials. We both got to go. So, guys, if you want to follow Rory and I, Rory's link is in the PS to his
brutallyhonestadreviews.com.
That's right. And you can go to getshitdone.com to join the community and get the Get Shit Done hypnosis session for free. This is Tellman Knudsen and
Dr. Rory F. Stern.
That's right.
The doctor.
Get Shit Done. We'll talk to you later.
Bye, guys.
Have a great day. Over and out.